Welcome to Hacking the Hustle. This is your host, Benjamin Sklar, and I'm very excited to have Hrish Lotlikar, the CEO of SuperWorld. How you doing, Hrish?
Doing well. It's good to be here and share our story, and it's an honor to be with your audience. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. So for those listening, a little background on SuperWorld. SuperWorld is a virtual world in the augmented reality space where people can buy and sell digital space in a virtual world or the metaverse. And they can also create, discover, and monetize content in AR or augmented reality. And I'll pass off the mic to Hrish to not only tell us about SuperWorld, but also his background and how he got into this.
Yeah, thanks. So I guess maybe I'll talk a little bit about my background and kind of what the story is and how we got to where we are with SuperWorld, and talked a bit about our vision. So very quickly, my background is I was born in India, grew up in the United States, went to Rice University in Houston, grad school in Illinois. Between college and grad school, I lived in Madrid, Paris, and London. So I've always loved the world, loved travel. Building SuperWorld is very close to my heart. This is just an honor, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to build a world. I love the world. I'm a global nomad. Went to grad school in Illinois. As I said, started off doing like an MD, MPH, MBA. Did an MBA and got into management consulting, kind of took this path less traveled, I should say, and then worked on Wall Street. I was at UBS and HSBC in New York. It's funny how life works. I started off my career doing real estate investment banking at UBS, and now we're doing virtual real estate, right? So it's like, what, how did that happen? But did venture capital for a while in New York. And then about 12 years ago, I had a crazy idea, probably one of the first of my crazy ideas, which was, wouldn't it be cool to go somewhere in the emerging markets and start a venture capital fund? So I went to Eastern Europe, didn't know anyone. I went to Ukraine, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Moldova. It took me about a year and a half, but I ended up getting backed by Victor Pinchuk to start a venture capital fund. Victor is one of the biggest investors in that part of the world. He's the guy who backs Yuri Milner at DST. DST put in $500 million into Facebook. They're a big growth investor. So Victor backed me. We started a fund called East Labs with two other partners. We invested in about 25 companies in the region. Preply is one of our companies, which is the largest online tutoring marketplace in the world. And then I also was able to do the same thing in Minsk, Belarus. So also on the board of Tech Minsk. Actually, the company that Facebook acquired that does all the face filters for Instagram and Facebook is a company called Masquerade. And Masquerade went through our accelerator and got bought by Facebook. And then after that was early at TopTal. TopTal is a talent marketplace backed by Andreessen Horowitz. So I was the first biz dev. Yeah, a lot of TopTal is, again, a talent marketplace, very global. And so that was a really great experience for me. I started living around the world, living very nomadically. We're a distributed company. And then 5 years ago, started Rogue Initiative Studios, which is a film, television, gaming, and virtual reality studio in Hollywood. My co-founder produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghosts. And my production is Michael Bay, the action director.
Huge.
Yeah. It was, Rogue Initiatives doing some cool stuff. And really that's kind of what expanded my mind to, creating cross-platform content. Because what we do there is build franchises that are feature film, television, gaming, immersive, and basically what happened was Pokemon Go came out like five and a half years ago, became this huge hit. And I got together with my co-founder, Max Woon. He and I had worked together on the YouTube platform. So we have another media company in our background. We thought, what? If we can't build the next Pokemon Go, what if we could build a world? What if we could build a place where the next 1,000 Pokemon Goes gets built onto it? And that was the vision of building SuperWorld.
Massive vision. Pokemon was a huge hit. Mm-hmm. And I recently was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how it wasn't really an AR play. It was more of a location-based play.
Mm-hmm.
So tie that into SuperWorld and tell us about SuperWorld. What is SuperWorld from the horse's mouth?
Yeah. So in your assessment of Pokemon Go is accurate. A lot of people don't necessarily use the AR portion of Pokemon Go. But, the way I describe SuperWorld, which kind of answers the question you just asked as well, is, SuperWorld is a set of three analogies, right? And so the first analogy I use is Pokemon Go, which is an analogy for adding digital information to the real world. Right. So you have a world, I have a world, brands have world. There's an infinite number of filters in Superworld. Right. And so if I'm in New York or LA or Miami or Beijing or Tokyo or Madrid, anywhere in the world, you could say, Hrish, why don't you check out my world? And I could walk around and you've left me things. You've left a hologram of yourself somewhere, totally interactive. I can, talk to you. You've left photos and videos in different places. You've left messages at your favorite restaurants about what I should eat and drink. You've personalized the real world in augmented reality. So the first part of the analogy, Pokemon Go. The second part of the analogy, Foursquare. It's a data analogy. So if there's an infinite number of virtual worlds, lots of data. So on the data side, we believe in permissioned use of data. What that means is you get paid for your data monetization. You are in crypto to use Superworld. And then other thing is we take that user activity and we benefit the real world. So as an example of that, when you buy virtual land in Superworld, we'll plant a tree in the real world. We've partnered with, it's all about improving people's lives in the real world. How do we enhance the real world itself, right? And then the third part of the analogy is monopoly, which is we've divided the surface of the earth into 64 billion virtual blocks. Each block covers a city block of land. And so if you buy a block, you get a share of any of the commerce that happens on that block: advertising, e-commerce, digital commerce, data analytics, and gaming.
So you have a huge vision for the future, because if I were to buy a block of land, let's say on the corner of Brooklyn Heights in New York City, I bought it for 0.5 ETH. How am I going to make my money back? Either I'm going to flip the land, someone's going to buy that piece of land from me, or I'm going to monetize it by the revenue streams on top of it, like games or advertising. But that's in the future. So you're building the infrastructure for hopefully 100 years from now, SuperWorld is like The Sims, but taken to a whole nother level. Is that where your head's at? Is that the business model? Is that how you talk about it with investors?
Yeah. So, again, what we're doing is we're, first of all, creating a platform where anyone is empowered to create, discover, and monetize anything, anywhere. Right. And so, again, if the whole world is a video game and you have one and I have one and there's an infinite number of them, right? The first step, okay, is how do we make it as easy as possible for you or anyone to create content and share that content anywhere in the world, any kind of content, 3D, 2D, audio, anything. Right. And so to be clear, that is a very simple idea. How do we enable you to use the world like a video game, to create anything? And if you're not a developer, how do we give you the tools to share your camera roll around the world, right? Or upload 3D objects? And we're lucky because, the industry and the technology is moving that direction. We've democratized the ability to create AR content. That's what LiDAR on your phone is now, right? You can just scan objects and upload them, okay? And so the technology is enabling this, right? So that's the first thing, is just sharing content. And then NFT technology is now making it very simple for you to monetize, because that's what NFTs are. They're structures that enable you to, create content that's programmable, that allows you to monetize, right? And then, again, the simple concept is we've divided up the world. So now we're saying if we're moving to the Internet of Places, right? Because now the internet's not just on your hard drive or on your computer per se, or on your phone. It's all around you. It's immersive. But now you can own those places, right? And so it's, once you think about it, it all makes sense. Oh shit, I'm able to put all this content all over the place. And I'm also now able to own those places. And if I own those places, I'm able to, benefit. I'm able to own the platform and benefit from what everyone does in those places.
It's really exciting. Tell me about the current problems that you're having as a CEO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, again, I think that as the company evolves and you continue on this journey, there's always different challenges and things. So we're actually kind of at the stage now where, we're beginning to scale. So we've, been focused on really looking at our customers, looking at what, people do when they come to SuperWorld. The thing that we've found to be very positive is our customers are very excited about the product. So the first thing I hear when I talk to, anyone who encounters SuperWorld and really understands what we're doing, the first thing is usually, this blows my mind, right? Their eyes get really big. They get super excited. Number two, I hear, I've told everyone I know. This is like always hear that, right? And we've gotten a lot of press coverage. We're in the New York Times, CNBC, CBS, NBC, Cheddar, you name it. And the reason why is the producers own land, their best friend owns land. They're usually inbound calling us because they heard the story, and then they're also very galvanized about the mission of building a better world. And then the third thing that they're doing is everyone has a story, right? So the story is, if I ask you where you bought, you're going to tell me exactly where. You're going to be very specific. You're going to know exactly where you bought, and you're going to tell me exactly why. Is that a place you grew up in, a place you love, a place you got married? There's some reason why. And then the third thing, and this goes to your question, the third thing is, what do you want to do there? Right. And so if you're a musician, you want a concert. If you're an artist, you want to sell some NFTs. You're an educator, you want to create some educational stuff. You're a traveler, you want to travel, share your travels. Right. And so that's where we are now, which is now we're building all of the features and tools that we know that our, super citizens want us to create. Right. And so we're heads down building all that out. And, again, you see some of these users give us use cases, right? So, last week, the government of Barbados announced that they're building an embassy in SuperWorld, right? So we know exactly what that means. I mean, they're telling us this is what we want the embassy to do. This is what, why we want to do this. Artists want to do concerts, as I said. So we're kind of building out all of these use cases. So that's kind of our focus right now.
And when they said they're going to build the embassy and people are going to host concerts, how are they going to do that? Is it going to be like an actual structure in the real world? I don't think so. So it's in the augmented reality world, like Sims, where people are building structures in this augmented reality, and avatars are going to be attending the conferences or the concerts on that land.
So again, you're bringing up a really good question. Okay. So again, the beauty of SuperWorld is we're a virtual world that's mapped on top of the real world. So one aspect of that is augmented reality, right? And so that is where you're in the real world, you're in Central Park in New York, and you're looking at augmented reality, digital content around you in the real world.
Explain how you do that. You have your phone and you're going around like this?
Yeah, your phone now, but later glasses or audio as an example, right? So augmented reality doesn't have to be just visual. It could be, you're going on an audio tour, or you're sitting in the park, you have some audio on, you're talking to your friend who's in the park too, right? You're having a live conversation, but then other people are virtually popping in to Central Park virtually, and they have the audio that you have too. So they're talking to you and they're avatars.
Oh, wow. Like a clubhouse in real world.
Clubhouse in real world. You're in the real world in the park, and the clubhouse is taking place all around you. That's coming. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. Yeah. And we've already, started some of that. We just, we have audio right now. It's global audio, but very soon you'll start seeing very localized audio where I can say, hey, let's go to Central Park. Some of my friends are there right now live, and we can plug in and we're all now in audio together.
Mhm.
Right. But so what I've talked to you about is augmented reality, right? But now what we could do is, we can go totally virtual from any location. Right. So, again, you can go from that location, whether you're putting on a VR headset, right, and you're going totally virtual, or you're looking around on your phone and it's not augmented reality anymore. It's totally virtual environment. So you can go from AR to VR. And if you can't attend that concert in Central Park, right, you could virtually be there by attending virtually, either a total VR concert, or you can see what's happening in that concert through a live feed and access augmented reality content too.
Fascinating. Tell me what excites you about all of this. What gets you going?
Yeah, I think the thing that's really interesting for me is, how do we utilize and leverage these technologies to really incentivize, positive behavior or positive things to the planet. So that's again, our mission is like, let's build a better world. And why I think that's cool is that, like, there's a lot of things that happen in the world that are based on incentives, right? And those are a lot of times very domestic, based on the country. Countries have different kind of policies in place that create, some countries are doing really amazing on certain things and other countries aren't doing as well. And they, have all these different incentives and mechanisms that help create those policies, right? And one of the things that we can do using tokenization is, and we're a world where we don't have any borders, right? And so you can create, incentives and mechanisms that create that same, whatever it is, positive thing, maybe, related to, pollution, or related to, again, things like we're doing in the Amazon with reforestation, or, helping with disaster recovery, in the Caribbean with the World Bank. And, there's all these things that we can do on a global scale using these mechanisms. So you've heard of like play to earn, which is, the concept that people play these video games and earn money. But what if you can apply those concepts to like the real things you do in your life? What if I can get Nike to pay you to go on a run? And now you're like, doing things that are very positive for public health. You're like, wow, like, why are there so many people running so much nowadays than there were before? Oh, it's probably because, there's a shoe company that wants more people to run, and that's positive for society, and, positive for, economies, and positive for people's welfare. So that's kind of cool. That's a very macro idea, is like, how do you take these mechanisms and do things on a global scale where you don't have to like talk to all the local governments and talk to all their public health departments. You can just go boom, switch on and do things that are very positive using tokenization. And then I would say the second thing that's kind of cool is like, how do you empower people's personal passions? Right. So, as AI takes over, there's a lot of things that, we're going to not have to do anymore, because, the AI, machine learning is going to replace a lot of these jobs. Right. And so, I think we're going to have to be more creative. And so there are ways, like we're seeing already happening with influencers and creators and all these things that exist. How can we utilize the platform to benefit people that want to, create content or share with the world what they are passionate about? And so one of our investment partners calls it passionware, but that's something that's, I think, pretty exciting for us.
Incredible. 3 more questions for you.
Yeah.
As a lawyer, I'm really curious about how you set up SuperWorld. Is it a Delaware C Corp? Did you incorporate in Wyoming? Are you an LLC? Do you have shares? What's going on with SuperWorld as a legal entity and your tech stack? Really curious about that.
Yeah. So on the legal side, we founded SuperWorld as a U.S. corporation, Delaware C corp, right? And we're further tokenizing. So there's certain structures there on the token side. We'll have a token issuing entity and likely a foundation and things like that, which will be overseas. But yeah, we start off as a very classical, U.S. based C corp. And again, it kind of demonstrates, our interest in accessing, the best equity investors from around the world, as well as with our token, again, enabling things on the token side that again optimize structuring of that. And then, on the technology side, on the AR VR side, we're built on ARKit, AR Core, Apple and Google. We're built on Unity engine as well. And so the idea there, as we think of the tech, is we're very long-term oriented. We want to build on platforms that our customers are using. So Apple and Google, will build on Oculus. We're software agnostic, right? We're hardware agnostic. We'll be on, every pair of glasses that comes out that makes sense to build on. We'll be on, haptic suits. We'll be on audio. We're already on desktop and mobile. And so again, hardware agnostic, and then we're platform agnostic and blockchain interoperable. We're on Ethereum right now. We'll be on Solana. We'll be on Polygon. Whatever we are doing is really long-term focused and customer obsessed. We want to know where our customers are and build what they want, and they are everywhere, right? And so that's where we are on the software, hardware, and technology side.
Sounds like you have the right mindset and mentality to make your customers love you. Second question. How can the Hacking the Hustle community help you and SuperWorld?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really great question, because, how I think of SuperWorld is it's not just a technology. It's not just a virtual world. It's a movement. And that movement is, how do we all come together as a community to, again, build a better world? How do we have an opportunity with Web3, with the technologies that we're working on, and new technologies that will for sure come over the horizon, to really, I think, be very vision based on, let's empower people. Let's do it the right way. Where I think all of us use social networks and social media, and we all know that even though it's positive, it's a little bit negative, and maybe more than a little bit, right? Well, I don't know if you've seen the documentary Social Dilemma that came out on Netflix, but I think that encapsulates what I mean, which is, we're all staring at our phones all day. We're not really in conversations with anymore. If you have like kids, you're probably staring at your phone while your kids are, like, you should be spending some time with your kids, and you're kind of looking at your phone because random notifications, and it's like hard to avoid. And you see the kids even getting more and more into it, right? Where like there's kids who just sit at home and play Fortnite all day, and so I think the opportunity is for us at SuperWorld is, how do we build a world that actually enhances your life, like helps you, but doesn't suck you in. Steve Jobs said the computer is a bicycle for your mind, but really when you want to get stuff done now, you have to put away your phone, you have to get technology away from you to concentrate, but it shouldn't be like that. And I think the opportunity for us is to come together to build a platform that I think can really do positive things for ourselves, empower us, give us ownership over that platform, and allow us to again do very positive things to the world. So I think the way that your community can help is, if you believe in what we're doing, if you understand what we're doing, I'd encourage your community to come on board, buy land in SuperWorld, become a super citizen, If you don't want to buy land, get on board with your ideas. Again, SuperWorld's free to use. You don't need to buy land. You can, create content. You can come at us with ideas about things that you think we should build. I'm very accessible. I'm at CEO at superworldapp.com. Reach out. I'm always happy to talk with anyone who has ideas. But if you believe in what we're doing, you want to get involved, definitely come and find a place and help us build. That's what Team SuperWorld's all about.
Love that. Amazing mission statement. I've realized from this podcast that never again am I going to record a podcast where I don't have a live stream or a Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitter Live, because I know because of SuperWorld's popularity and buzz in the marketplace, people should be asking questions right now, and I'd be like doing a Q&A with you next time. All right, so Hrish, last question. Yep. It's a signature question that I ask everybody. If there was one thing you could do to improve this world, what would you do and why?
I think that, as we're thinking about building SuperWorld, the benefit is that there's, a myriad of options. It's an unlimited number of things that, we can do because the whole world's a video game and we can enhance different parts of the world. And again, it's online and offline, offline and online. And I think that, the way that I think we can have the biggest impact is to make it, again, as accessible as possible. These tools, whether it's AR, VR, NFTs, blockchain, AI, these tools are out there, but they're only beneficial if people can get access to them, if someone can buy an NFT or if someone can, utilize the technology to educate themselves, to entertain themselves, to learn about their surroundings. And so one of the things that we really focus on, I think that try to make a big impact is to make it as accessible as possible. So we're working on that, whether it's NFTs, again, we're 0.1 Ether to get on board. So, compared to the physical world, that's a steal in terms of getting, a block of land anywhere in the world. And we, I think we try to do things that other people can get on. We're, we'll be localizing in other languages. We're on mobile, so that's like the wide distribution. You don't need a headset just yet. But we'll be cross-platform, software, hardware agnostic, so you can access it different ways. Even if you don't have glasses, maybe you can just have some AirPods and you listen to SuperWorld, right? So I think that's kind of the thing is how can we get more and more people to have access to the platform to be able to create, discover, and monetize anything, anywhere. That's our goal. So yeah, I think that would be a very positive thing. And that goes to like education as well. A lot of this is educating people about what Web3 is about. And SuperWorld, we kind of frame it as, look, SuperWorld is the gateway to the metaverse. And so if you're interested in the space, you want to get into crypto, you want to get into NFTs, go and buy a place on Earth and you get a wallet. You get a place that you own. Now you can do some AR, VR, and so it kind of starts you on that path. And that's what we want to do, is make that first step really simple.
Love that. That's a nice sequence of a domino effect of how my community, the Hacking the Hustle community, can get into Metaverse. Awesome, Hrish. Such an honor to have you on the show. Love your personality and your energy. I'll keep you posted. Thanks again. Talk to you next time.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And I'll, happy to be back, and we can do a live stream or whatever. Then I'm always happy to talk to people. So pleasure. Thank you again.
That'd be awesome. All right, Hrish. See ya.
Awesome. See you later, man. Bye.